We are at Squire's castle. It is roughly 8:30, and stopped and got some notebooks so that we can take some notes, record any findings that we find. But yeah, so we're going to get started with a preliminary walkthrough, just kind of getting a feel for things. It's actually really nice. It was kind of raining, but the rain stopped. There's barely anybody here, so this is a perfect opportunity to get our investigation started. All right, so we're going to start walking up there, and we'll meet you up there. Okay, so we're going to go in the front here, actually. So once we get inside, I'm going to give a little bit of history on it, a little bit of description. But just off the top of my head, I know that this was originally supposed to be a part of a much bigger building. So this was just the original gatehouse from somebody named Squire. That's why it's called Squire's Castle. And that's kind of a nickname it got over time. The original owner who built it, Mr. Squire, who was later a mayor of a city around here, he built this to be the residency quarters of the people who are going to be running the maintenance in the gatehouse and things like that. And then there's supposed to be a much larger estate and mansion that was beyond this, and this is going to be a whole property. But because his wife, who did not like being here, requested to live elsewhere, they never finished it. And so this is all that remains, because this is basically all that was built. They didn't get any further past this. However, they did make this whole thing into an actual residency and an actual house. So right now the inside of this is really barren. It's really bare, but this did used to have like full furniture, an upstairs. It had a basement that has since been filled in. Okay, still getting a 0 on the EMF. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this actually. Do you have the flashlight on you?
I have it in the thing.
Oh, in the bag?
It's on night mode.
Oh, okay. Are you able to see these plaques up here?
Uh-huh.
So this one up here shows the layout of the castle. And so you can see that this was the living area here. They had a kitchen, a great hall. They had like a trophy room. And so this was fully furnished, upstairs, downstairs, basement. And although they didn't live here, they did visit here and would, reside here on holiday and things like that. So, and here's where it gets a little bit muddled in the history. So, the legend goes that the wife hated being here. So much so to the point that it drove her mad and drove her crazy. There's not super reputable sources on this, so, take it all with a grain of salt. It's as, mysteries and, things go. But supposedly it drove her mad being here, the sounds of the nature, sounds of animals. She was much more of a city person, so this more rural country life just kind of got to her. And being alone here, isolated with only the trees around her, around here, she just kind of went mad. And so to try to alleviate, some of that psychosis, they did eventually, remove her and put her in, a more inner city, estate. Where later, I believe she died from a stroke, so natural causes. But the legend goes that she still roams here, and is trapped place, basically in the place that she despised the most. And so she's really unhappy about that. So there is rumors that people have seen her in these windows here. So this was, if I can find a date on here. Let's see one. I believe it was back in the 1800s, though. But, so since then, there has been other things that have kind of created more of a paranormal lure to this place. So back in the 1970s, there was a lot of drugs, a lot of cults, a lot of interesting drug use, a lot of mushrooms, things like that. I don't know. But so it's said that there was a lot of satanic worship here because it was a castle. It had this, appeal for devil worshippers, cultists, and everybody of the like to come here and do their, weird things at night. They weren't allowed to, but they would just kind of sneak onto the premises and conduct these satanic rituals and things like that. So there's that appeal to it too. We're not quite sure what all happened there. That's not documented as well. And then back behind the castle, because this is a metro park, so they have turned all of this woods back here into hiking trails and horseback riding trails. And so there's also multiple legends of hikers and tourists, that have basically got lost in the trails, missed step, lost their footing. And there's really, really high ravines up there, really high cliffs. I mean, we were back there hiking the other day, and on both sides of you, there's just, 100-foot drop, So I tried doing preliminary research to see what I could find on that, and I didn't find anything to corroborate that. So whether or not that's true, I don't know. But it does kind of add to the mystery and the appeal of this place. So overall, a lot of different interesting things to investigate. So we are going to do a walkthrough, and then if we find anything, we'll hop back on and give you guys an update. This is the fact that explains the date. It was 1922. So this was the gentleman that originally had the castle built, Mr. Squire, and so this was in 1922. And so he initially had this built to be his residence, and like I said, they only got to the gatehouse and then ceased construction. He built it to emulate some of the properties that he saw in Europe that he really liked, but then ultimately, because of the issues that they had here, they wound up going over to Wycliffe's Millionaires Row, and then Mr. Squire served as the mayor of Wycliffe, looks like in 1925. Oh, no, and then in 1925, the Cleveland Metro Parks purchased this property and made it into what it is today. Want to get a shot of this, showing that there's no roof here? So, they've preserved this as much as they can, but you can see that there's no roof. So, there's quite a bit of water in here and everything else. I'm excited for after nightfall, because it's getting there now. And, if any of that changes, we already know we got a 0 reading across the board, so that's kind of cool. I never get tired of this thermal camera. This is so cool. Should we just set up the EVP and start up recording somewhere?
I guess so. I figured just leave it in our pocket.
Yeah, I think us walking though, we'd get a lot of background noise. I mean, we could do both. We can hold it and carry it with us at some point, or just kind of leave it here for a little bit. It's not on. Yeah, you goof. Okay, this is voice recording 1. I'm setting this on the mantelpiece of Squire's Castle, and I'm going to leave this here for the next 15 minutes and come back for it. So we'll leave that there, and then kind of leave this room alone, see if anything happens. See, now that I've walked through the whole thing and like I haven't gotten anything at all, I know that if this just like starts randomly like beeping, running, going crazy, it's gonna like freak me out so much. This is 85. So explain to them what you're using right now.
I'm using a UV light to look at all the interesting stuff on the brick walls.
So yeah, this must be like old vandalism and stuff that they try to clean off. You don't see this without the UV light. It's completely like invisible. Here, let's go check the other rooms too. I don't know, I can just kind of get a weird feeling when I walk in this room.
Oh yeah. I have a sense of unease.
Yeah, I do too. Which I think that this was... Here, can you shine that light up here? Because I couldn't read these rooms perfectly last time, sorry. Yeah, so this room that we're in right now, this was the hunting room in a library. So I think this room right here would have been where they spent a lot of their time.
I don't know what orange means.
I'm wondering if that's like spray paint or chalk or something.
There's a lot.
It seems to be on a lot of it though.
Yeah, I think that orange is just maybe the stone.
Yeah.
That one room was fucking creepy though.
Which one?
The one with all the green in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we can get upstairs, but just not technically like...
Random spiders.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think you'd be able to pick that up in the color lens or no?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to pay attention to like the thermal camera and walk and EMF at the same time. So I guess the EMF will go nuts if it picks up anything. So
You can probably just leave that in your pocket.
true, but if accident turns off, I don't forget it. You want to kind of just do a walk on the outside real quick?
Yeah, that's fine.
So it is officially just us in this entire park, completely by ourselves. Okay, yeah, I'm not getting anything on thermal. I'm gonna give this a break.
That's a stick. Not very shiny. Just the stone though.
Do you want to set the camera down and just do like a tripod thing, you know?
We can.
I think we should set it up on the night vision in the room where we set up the electronic voice.
Yeah. We can set it up in here. I almost feel like you should set it up.
Okay, this is ending recording number 1.
Do you want to set that up in the room over there where all that shit is?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got orange stuff in it.
Yeah, we can check this one out.
Yeah, but this one's green. I'm more inclined for the green.
Okay.
Don't forget your stuff right there.
Yeah.
Okay. You got the tripod? Not gonna lie, kind of spooked.
Can you shine the flashlight over here? I need the light. I should probably get the headlamp out. So I think I'm gonna also set up like the notebook in front of the camera so that it has something to move.
Aside from the rock.
It's called like a page turn test or whatever.
Okay. Some fruit snacks in the corner. Feathers.
Recording number 2 with the camera set up. Starting now. Alright, if there's anybody in here, if there's anybody that wants to communicate, we're going to leave the room for a little bit. There's a book here, and if you want to make yourself known, feel free to turn a page, or even write something. We'll be back a little bit later.
That's alright. Boom. Sound.
Okay, so we didn't really find anything in the castle. At least not yet. I mean, we still have to go back and evaluate, like the sound and, the cameras when we left that in the room. But so there is trails back there. And before we leave, we want to make sure that we do, just a quick run through of the backwoods area too. I do have the thermal camera on me and the EMF. So we'll just do a walkthrough, see what we find. Okay, so we haven't been recording this whole time, but just over there, we saw some eyes, probably just a wild animal, and then heard this like rustling. Cheryl seems to think that it was growling, but I think it was just like leaves rustling. So against our better judgment, we are going to continue to walk in these backwoods, which it is completely pitch dark without these lights right now.
Should bring pepper spray next time.
EMF still reading at 0, so... It was right over here. Hello? Alright, there's a big drop off here, so I don't want to keep going that way. This trail's really, really muddy right now. Is anyone there? Make yourself known. You want to talk to us? Did you hear that?
No. What'd you hear?
Just like sticks breaking.
It's probably an animal, baby.
Probably.
A big no, thank you.
Did you get lost on these trails? Do you need us to show you the way out? Do you want us to leave?
I want to leave.
I just got like the coldest tingle down my spine. I don't like that ridge right there. I don't want to turn my back to it.
I want to go back this way.
You want to go up this hill?
Nope, I think we should go.
I
He loves you.
Alright, we're leaving.
That was me.
Waiting for something to come up like behind us and it's running after us.
Did you want the head of camp?
No, you're good.
Because you can't hardly see nothing, you know what I mean? Unless you're looking at it.
You want to shine the light over at the castle? Okay, so we just walked through the woods. A couple of frights, a couple of uncomfortable moments, but ultimately I think that it's probably animals. You know, I'm gonna chalk it up to just the sounds of the woods in the middle of the night that are a little creepy. So. Well, this pretty much wraps up our investigation of Squire's castle. It is definitely an interesting, creepy place. Especially at night. So we didn't find anything too crazy. But definitely worth a visit. And, I was just telling Cheryl, I'm not quite sure if we were recording or not, but... Oh, definitely need that light. I was just telling Cheryl, as creepy as this castle is, and as cool as it is, ultimately the most unease and uncomfortable that I felt was by far in the woods. And I'm not quite sure what triggered that. There's been reports of bears and stuff, but...
There's a friend down over there.
Okay. Okay, but that wraps that up, and we will see you next time.